Hello and welcome to Yoga TX. My name is Crystal if you follow me on Instagram. Today I have a short practice focused around the low back because we all have one and it often hurts. But this will be mostly a floor practice, so no standing, but do expect some folds, some twists, and we'll really get into that low back area. I do recommend a block today. If you don't have one, that's okay. And this is meant to be a softer, gentler practice, so wherever you can, finding ease. And we'll start on our back. So go ahead and set up as if setting up for a bridge pose. We're not going to do bridge, but as if you were. So bend your knees up towards the ceiling, plant your feet about hips width distance. And then as if you're about to do a sit-up or a crunch, take your hands or your fingertips next to your ears and point your elbows up. Now, this is just going to be the smallest crunch. So tuck your chin towards your chest. And then instead of thinking about engaging the core, can you walk your shoulder blades away from your feet? So towards the top or the back, however you want to think about it, of your mat, and then lower the top of your head back down. So we're just going to lengthen out the spine first. And then bring your arms down back along your sides. And similar to that, we're gonna just do the tiniest baby bridge and get a little more length through the lower side of the spine. So press into your feet, lift the tailbone slightly, and think about sending your tailbone or your sits bones toward your heels. So just really lengthening and thinking about getting the entire spine flat to the earth. All right, once you have that, take your arms overhead like a V and let the backs of your hands rest on the mat or the earth. I've got earth underneath my hands. We outside today. And then from here, bring your feet wide, so about mat width distance. Let your knees knock together. It's like constructive rest. And see if you can revel in that extra space or extra length you've created through your spine. And take a few breaths here. Now walk your feet back in so that they're hips width distance. And then we'll do a little bit of core. Again, this is to add to that low back sensation. If you have a block, bring it between your knees. If you don't have one, again, this can be done without the block, but we'll inhale and draw your shins parallel to the mat. And as you exhale, let your knees hover to one side. It doesn't matter which side, but don't let them touch all the way down. And inhale back through center, and exhale, hover the other way. So we'll do two more each side. Your inhales bring you back to center. Your exhales let you hover. And that means as you hover, you might not come super close to the mat. That's okay. But we're engaging the core here. I've got one more round each side. If you're a little bit ahead or behind of my breathing and notice that I'm talking and not necessarily focusing on my breath, that's okay. Next time you come or your knees come to the right, we'll let the knees drop at last. And if you have the block, feel free to keep it. If you don't, again, that's okay. Just finding your twist here. You see if you can keep the back of your left shoulder blade glued down. And next inhale, we'll switch sides, so bring the shins back over your center line and then let them drop the other way. If you want to adjust so that your hips come closer to stacking, feel free to do so. And then start to come back to center. If you have the block, release it from between your knees. We'll set up for a supported bridge. So lift the hips up. We'll slide the block on the low or medium setting underneath the sacrum and then let the weight rest there. If you don't have a block, you're free to take an active bridge. So the hips will stay lifted. You'll ground into the feet a bit more. Wherever you are, this does help because we're engaging the glutes if we're in active bridge. If we're in supported, the weight of the block is pressing into the low back. And then from here, we'll start to work towards a waterfall. Lift both feet up towards the ceiling. If you were in active bridge, you'll have to lower your sacrum back down to the earth. Now this can be done with or without the block. I quite like it with the block. It helps take it out of the core. Sometimes when we have the block underneath us and then we add more weight onto the block, that might not feel good in the body today. So feel free to lower the hips or lift the hips and then remove or add the block if you want to experiment. And then from here, you might circle out the ankles, point and flex the toes. Now you are welcome to stay just like this, or if you want to work towards more of a fold using the help of gravity, this will require a little bit more engagement. But with or without the block, you can start to lift the hips up. So you'll press into your hands to lift the hips up, and then bring your hands to the low back. So low back, but now your hands are quite high on the back just because of gravity. And then you can stay here, keeping the hands where they are. You can crawl your elbows closer to each other to make your base stronger. And then you might send your toes overhead. You can add a bend of the knees here. So again, this is very similar to a forward fold. And I advise, if you've never done this before and want to just watch first, to sit up and not try to turn your head towards the screen with your legs overhead like this, because that can put a lot of pressure in the neck. And if this feels okay, know that your feet don't have to come all the way towards the earth. As you're ready, you can start to bring your hands back to the mat for support. If you have the block underneath you, you might move it out of the way first, or just start to come down super slow so hands are supportive. Sacrum will touch down, plant your feet, find that windshield wipe of the knees right to left. Then as you're ready, we'll roll to one side to press ourselves up. I am in deep nature today. Honestly not, there's a road like 100 steps away. But man, there's a lot of sounds going on. All right, from here, a little bit of a yin pose that we'll work towards. So I'll give you a few options. You can either extend your legs out like a straddle. Oh, it's a bird, so cool. And yeah, this is an option. Some people don't like the straddle. You can also bend one knee and bring the sole of the foot of the bent leg towards the inner thigh of the straight leg. And then from here, if you have a block, you can bring it either inside or outside of the extended leg. We'll bring opposite arm. So let's say I'm going over my right extended leg, bring the left arm up, and then take a little side bend towards that extended leg. Now, if you have some height or are able to underneath the right arm, sometimes I like to bend both elbows and place hands behind the head, and I can rest my head in the heel of the right hand. We'll be here for a few rounds of breath, but I find that this helps to create some length in the opposite side. So we're leaning towards the right, but I feel some length in the lower left portion of my low back. And let your breath slow down here. Again, if you don't have a block, that bottom hand can rest on the earth, and you can have a straight arm for more distance from the earth, or you can find a bend of the elbow and walk that hand closer to the foot, just depending on how your body feels today. Oh, I got a leaf in my hair. Now with this arm that's on top, you can also choose to drape that arm overhead if you're like, oh, this feels very active and fiery in that top shoulder. I invite you, wherever you are, block, no block, bent elbows, straight arms, Find a few moments of stillness here. So if you're like, this isn't super comfortable, see what you can find. Where can your breath slow down? Where can you find a little bit of ease? And then keeping the legs as they are, we'll start to come up, so heart over the hips. And we'll take a twist in the opposite direction. Now again, legs can be straddled, or you'll start to turn towards your bent knee if you have a bent knee. So that was side bend to the right. I'm going to take my right hand to the left knee and left hand behind me. If the legs are in a straddle, you'll just bring one hand in front, one hand behind. Kind of feel like Cinderella, like all the birds are coming towards me. I'll start singing to them. Just kidding, I don't know. All right, and then from here, take your chin over your back shoulder. And take a breath here. And as you exhale, keeping the twist in the body, but turn your chin over your front shoulder. And then we'll switch, setting up for a side bend over opposite leg, which I'm going to say for me is my left leg. If you have a block, it can be in front of or behind the leg. And then arms will come overhead, or right arm will come overhead. And I might find a bend of the elbows, so I can rest my head in the heel of the left hand. I can also have a straight bottom arm, and can adjust the height by crawling hand closer to me or closer to the foot. If you had the bent leg on the first side, the same things apply, you'll just have the bent leg. And this top arm can drape or rest over the top ear. Or again, you can find a bend in both elbows. And then here, see if you can think about putting the slightest bit of a bow shape through the top part of your body. So now we're leaning left. I'm going to see if I can press the bottom or the lowest rib on my right side a little out and up. And that'll add a little bit more sensation on that side of the body. And if I have fingers interlaced or arms bound, I'll unwind. I'll press into the left hand to lift my heart over my hips. I'll take a twist in the opposite direction of the side bend. So now I'm turning to the right, and right hand will plant behind, left hand will come to left knee. And if you are keeping the legs straddled, just left hand in front, right hand behind. I love options, they're so great. And wherever you are, take your chin over your back shoulder. So like you're increasing the twist through the spine, really wringing out the spine. And take an inhale here. Keep everything the same as you exhale. Just bring your chin over your front, maybe now left shoulder. And then we'll release that. You can use your hands to assist bringing the knees up and in. We'll find a butterfly shape in the legs, so bring soles of feet together, knees wide. And then take an inhale, really lift your crown. As you exhale, think about sending your heart towards your big toes. So that allows us to have a lot of lift in the spine instead of just hunching over like we might do on the couch or in the car when we're driving long distances. Find lots and lots of length. And then heart towards the big toes. You might bring your hands around the feet. And then you can allow the head to drop towards the big toes. Now head can dangle in space here. If you have a block and want a little bit of lift or something else for your forehead to rest on, you can place the block in front of you. Sometimes you might need 2 blocks. But it's perfectly okay to let your head dangle in space. And start to upright your spine. We'll do one more thing here. Let's find a 90-90. So I'm going to start with my right shin parallel-ish to the short edge of the mat, and my left shin is parallel to the long edge of the mat. It's almost as if I'm setting up for pigeon, so I'll turn my heart to face the right shin. And then from here, you can choose to stay upright or you can start to crawl forward any amount. Again, it's kind of like a pigeon variation. But then to get a little more length in the lower back, I'm gonna crawl towards my right knee. So away from the front foot. And then let the head hang. And then come back to center, press yourself up. To switch sides, we'll just lift the knees up and we'll turn to face the opposite short edge of the mat. So now right shin is parallel to the short edge, right shin parallel to the long edge, left shin parallel to the short edge. Again, you might choose to stay lifted here, that might be enough. You can start to crawl forward over the left shin. Or to get a little more length on that right side, I'm gonna crawl towards my left knee. So away from the left foot. You can bring the hands long here. You can also rest on your forearms. Maybe just extending the right arm away from you at a diagonal. And then we'll release that. Come back through center. Option to take hands behind you and find a windshield wipe of the knees. Get out of the hips a little bit. And we'll meet back in a seat. Now this is that time where if you want to take a Shavasana, you are welcome to. If this was all the time you had and you're like, okay, great, whatever this is, 15-20 minute practice is all I got time for, meet me in that seat and bring your hands to your heart space. We'll seal this practice with a breath together. To begin, exhale all your air out. And inhale, fill your lungs, breathe into your hands. Take in a little more air at the top. And sigh it out. All right, thank you so much for practicing with me here today on Yoga TX. If you like what we're doing, please like and subscribe to the page. Again, my name is Crystal. If you want to follow me on social media, you can find me on Instagram. My handle is at its_Crystal. That's CRYST, 5 A's and an L. Thank you so much, yogis. Namaste.